And we're back here at Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement, here with Bobby Watt. He is the president of RJW Stonemasons. Bobby, we were talking about expanding the talent pool. We talked about women getting more involved in some of the work that you've been doing there. What about Indigenous members of society? What's going on there?
Oh, well, again, we need to bring more Indigenous people in. There are lots of young, talented people out there that we'd like to attract in. More difficult, I think, because of the location, because the Indian communities tend to be further north. We're talking now about sending training teams out to them so that you would have buses, traveling classrooms that could travel anywhere in the country and take the training to the people that need the training. So, and we find also that the Indigenous communities tend to work in things like the oil sands and the mining, heavy equipment, stuff like that. We'd love them to come into our neck of the woods as well and do the house building stuff as well. That's something that Canadian Apprenticeship Forum is working on a lot. Right. And again, we've got some great partnerships going with the Indigenous communities and the Indigenous leaders. There's a great story about what happened up in Saugeen First Nation up in the Bruce Peninsula, where a bunch of the young men on the reservation were taught to be dry stone wallers, and they've rebuilt what was an amphitheatre, beautiful amphitheatre that was done in dry stone in the earlier part of, I think, the 1920s and 1930s, that had fallen apart. And these young men rebuilt it. And they've then become Red Seal Masons. They've right. gone through the training on that one site, have done that stuff. They're now ready to go wherever across the country they're needed. But that's only a dozen or 15 guys. There's no women in that group. We need, 1,500 or 2,000 people, 3,000 people from the Indigenous community in every province to come to us and say, train me. I'm ready. Train me. So
indeed.
We're reaching out.
Yeah, the need is so strong there. Can I talk about new immigrants as well? Because obviously that's been an area where we have been able to attract people with the skills that we need. Is that still part of the strategy as well?
Yes, but because of COVID, of course, the immigration virtually closed down over COVID. So we're just trying to pick that back up again. There are many people that could come here and work, and certification in my trade certainly just is universal. Once you can do it, you can do it. And it's the same with carpenters and welders, certainly. It's the same for them. Slightly different for electricians because there's different rules and different amperages and various things. Slightly different for plumbers because of different codes that you have to follow. But the trades, it's the same deal, whether you're in South Africa or whether you're in Norway or whether you're in Canada. So people who want to come over, sure, we'll welcome them with open arms into the trades and get them certified. Get them certified as quickly as we can.
And we must be kind of in a competition for talent when it comes to those people, right? Like there's probably a worldwide shortage of some of these tradespeople. Is that right?
Absolutely. And a lot of the work that's getting done in Australia and New Zealand, always after my trade, stonemasons. If you've got a choice of going to Melbourne or Montreal, a lot of people will take Melbourne because you can work all year round, whereas Montreal, you're only working for 9 months of the year. Winter's off. So there's a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of hurdles to jump. But believe me when I say there are many, many people working on getting to the end of that 200-meter hurdles and getting over all the hurdles and getting to the finish line with us, because it's a worldwide movement to get the trades back to where they were pre-Second World War, to get them to be a status in and of themselves within society, that people are happy to come into the trades and make their life as a tradesperson instead of going to university to try and become a doctor or a dentist or a lawyer.
Yeah, we've got about 30 seconds before the segment's over, but it sounds like people are cooperating more on this. Is that fair to say? Is there a new sense of cooperation on these?
Yeah, I would say so. And a bigger group of people who are getting involved from all levels of the stratosphere. The people that have to get involved are getting involved. There's a new $5,000 initiative for every apprentice signed now from the federal
let's
government.
talk about that. We're going to take a brief break, but that's an important point. We'll talk about that right after the break. Please stay with us.